Welcome. Chat, guess what I have? It's an Angry Orchard hard apple cider. We're drinking alcohol tonight. This is like the least alcoholic drink. Also, welcome to the stream. I didn't do one last week because I ran out of time. Well, I by the time I remembered that I was like, oh, I should do a stream, it was like really late. It was like 9 o'clock. What? Wait. Oh, the YouTube is warning me. Oh, the audio bitrate is really low. It's because I had my microphone muted. There were no sounds. There was no bitrate. Bottoms up. Okay, I'm gonna ASMR crack this open. Nice. It's the first alcohol I've had in like probably a month. Well, less than that. I had like one fake beer. It was like a summer shandy. I do like Angry Orchard. I do like a good hard cider every so often. YouTube's gonna think you're a kid because you talk about Steven Universe. That's why I gotta say this. Piss, shit, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits. Okay, we're good. I think YouTube's gonna be fine. The good old George Carlin 7 words you cannot say. Love George Carlin. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that in one of the upcoming videos just to see, like, do I get demonetized if I say all those words in the first 7 seconds? Because I hear you don't anymore. I'm curious though. Here's the thing. I swear a lot throughout Gemology. I swear a lot throughout these streams. I've never been demonetized for any of them. I got demonetized for a video that, like, it doesn't make... I don't know why. If you go on my channel, you look up a April prank. Like, I did a video about, like, an April Fool's joke that someone was going to play on me, and then I, like, flipped the script on them. That video got demonetized, and I have no idea why. And I don't really care. The Apoke, how's it going? James, you remember the, like, weird prank that you guys tried to... you and Mason tried to play on me, and then you were like trying to get me to be a double agent, and then I like flipped the script and it just fell apart. That was a good... It got yeah, I don't understand why it's demonetized for some reason. Not that that video has like any views, so I don't like care. It's funny. It is weird. And the video don't look at this one because I'm going to get canceled if people watch this, but there's a video called Don't Watch a Cartoon Called Steven Universe, which is a parody of that Don't Watch an Anime Called Boku, and that video, it was demonetized and then it got undemonetized without me having to appeal it for some reason. I don't understand. That, of all the videos on my channel, I feel like that one should be demonetized, but it's not. Also, I left that one up just because it's, like, historical. It's funny. I still think it's funny. I like that, like, copy pasta format. Okay, I'm gonna take a sip of this cider, and then we're gonna start. Also, I gotta find a soundtrack. I'm thinking something I don't own, like a Animal Crossing or something like that. I could always do... Wait, what did I have? I had Outer Wilds. It is starting soon. It's always been starting soon. We can switch over to the blender. There we go. There's a cute pearl face that I wanted to show off. This one. Cute pearl. Cute peel. Please do love like you. I can't play Steven Universe music, otherwise the stream gets claimed, unfortunately. I wish I could play. I wish I could just play the Steven Universe background music for these streams, but I'm gonna do let me think. I'm gonna pick something weird. I'm gonna do Katamari Damacy. Do you guys like Katamari Damacy? That might be a really... I really want to do that one. I feel like that's gonna be a very strange background music, actually. Some rumors going by. Someone knows that I'm streaming, and they decided to vroom by my house. Yeah, the instrumentals get claimed. I've let me think. Okay. I could also just do a good old Animal Crossing. What about covers? Yeah, I mean, it depends on who's covering it, because some people will claim if you're using their recording. Though does Nintendo Music get claimed? I don't know. Okay, anyway, for now I'm gonna pick a classic, which is Going Under. That is very quiet on my end. I'll bring that up a little bit. Just have some dude in the back with a saxophone. I have a friend, an old roommate, who plays the trombone. I could just get him to come over and just play trombone while I'm talking into the microphone. That'd be very awkward, wouldn't it? I gotta be like a late night show host and have like a band, you know? I gotta take the place of the Colbert Report. Is it the Colbert Report? Because Stephen Colbert got fired because he I don't know the whole story behind it, but he's something he said it was a big old bribe when they were trying to do their merger. And then they gave him like 10 more months, and then now he has the reins are off. He is unleashed. I'm curious to see what happens. Are you roommates with Sans Undertale? Not currently. I don't have any roommates currently other than my cat, who actually owns the house. At least he thinks he does. That's just what cats do, though. I like Pearl. This episode is such a good, like, it's one of my favorite Pearl-focused stories. Also, Pearl and Greg, and they're not, like, at each other's throats the whole time, which is nice. Steven mentioned... Overanalyzing Steven Universe. That's the intent. That's the entire... It's... Everyone, like... I've seen plenty of people in the comments that are like, this is just like overanalyzing Avatar, but for Steven Universe. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the point. What happened with Colbert? His show got canceled because he made a joke bashing his own studio. And they gave him like 10 months before his show was over. So he's just going to be like no holds barred kind of jokes for now. I never liked him. I never watched like late night shows. Back when Jay Leno was like actually a TV host, my dad would watch him and I would catch him occasionally, but other than that, I don't know. This guy reminds me of overanalyzing Avatar. I'm going to be getting comments about that till the end of time. Where did Pearl learn how to do all this? This is my question. I'll probably bring this up in a later video, like when Pearl builds the fucking robots with Peridot. Where did Pearl learn to do, like, mechanics? You know? It's, I mean, Peridot was right. Is that pearls don't do this? That's not a pearl thing. I guess when you're 3 or no, you're like 10,000 years old or whatever. Pearl's like the oldest of the crystal gems, right? Like if she's been around that long and she's been around for like humans developing fucking welding and like metalworking and stuff, that they would figure this, she would just like absorb it through osmosis. But I don't know, things like metalworking in the past 100 years have advanced like crazy. Maybe she was the engineer for the rebellion. I feel like she would be doing that was never elaborated on. And she would have been doing a lot more with Rose during that time. I'm not sure. Human tech is much easier easier than Homeworld, probably. I'm gonna bring up the music volume a little bit. Actually, I'll just bring it up globally. We didn't see friction between Pearl and Greg for going against the wishes and almost getting his son killed. Yeah, I don't get that. There was friction last episode because Greg fucked up Steven's powers. Holy shit. Okay, I turned that music up like preliminarily. How do you say that word? I'm already drunk. I had one sip of this fucking cider. Preliminarily. Is that it? Is that correct? Pearl invented welding, perhaps. I don't know, though. Also, hell yeah. This is like the most badass shot in all of Steven Universe so far. This is man shit. Does she use the internet in the series? Where does she get the specs for the Saturn V? I'm sure she read books. I feel like Pearl is a physical book reader. Blowtorching a sandwich. I want to try this at some point. I have a little blowtorch for like cooking. I don't know if this would be good for a fucking grilled cheese. We all saw the Gordon Ramsay grilled cheese where he tried to do it over a wood fire and it was like absolutely dog shit looking. If you don't know about that, please watch it. It's horrendous. It would melt instantly? I don't think so. That's the thing. I feel like the it would just burn and the cheese would stay solid. If you know anything about cooking, you would understand that. I can tell that you don't cook. It's interesting. You can tell by the way people talk about food whether they know how to cook or not, or whether they cook frequently or not. Blowtorch steak. That's a good way to like. If you sous vide a steak and then like do a blowtorch on it, it like sears it. That might actually be really good though. Blowtorching s'mores. This is making me hungry even though I just ate. Also, I should mention the stream is a little... Why is this playing again? We just... Wait. Okay, there we go. I don't understand. It was like looping through a bunch of things we already listened to. I forgot what comment I was reading. Shit. Also, I pointed this out way back in Crystal Sins, but this is a jet engine with a propeller bolted to it. I don't think this exists in real life. Hold on. Jet engine with propeller. It is a turboprop? No, that's not right. No, that's just not a thing that exists. A turboprop is like a gas engine that the propeller forces air in, but it doesn't look like this. It looks like a turbo drive. What episode was it that where little Little Greg and Amethyst watch a lot of Big Butler. I totally read that wrong. I fucking forget the name. I'll pull it up. Is it maximum capacity? That's not right, right? I'm wrong about that. Yeah, maximum capacity. When the dyslexia kicks in. Dude, I'm a lightweight. I had like 3 sips of this hard cider and I can't read already. I'm not even close to dyslexic. It's weird. It's very strange. Sometimes I just look at words and they just get jumbled. Not often. It's not diagnosable, I'm sure. Everyone's got a little bit of stupid in their brain, I think. Have you gotten to that episode in the series? I'm doing it in order, so the episode that I am reviewing right now is the one we're on. It's also, I think... Did I do the playlist? Wait, did I put the latest one in the playlist? I have to do that manually. I forget to do that. Hold on. I know I don't have to do it manually, but I feel like I forget. And I know there's a way to set it up so videos get added into a playlist automatically when they get uploaded. But have I watched The Wonderful World of Gumball? Not yet. I heard it's good. I have a friend who is like way into Gumball to the point where he sees me making Gemology and he pitched me the idea of Gumbology, and I thought that was an awesome idea. I think he should totally do it. And if you're watching, Angel, do it. Do Gumbology. It's awesome. I have not seen it yet, but I've heard good things. Why is Pearl wearing headphones if she doesn't have ears? She has ears. There's I don't get that thing with like, oh, gems don't have ears, cuz like characters have ears. There's shots with, I mean, Pearl, I don't think her hair always covers them up, but like Amethyst gets an ear when she gets like, Amethyst has an ear in an earlier episode and I just didn't point it out. Just like a regular sized one, but then when she reforms that one time, she has like a real big one. Pearl is listening to Katy Perry. What do you think Pearl would listen to music-wise? She probably listens to like Death Grips, right? It's just like nonsense music, penis music. The gem ear iceberg. Yeah, I'm gonna do an iceberg video at some point. I've wanted to do that, but I'm gonna wait till we get later into the series, maybe like end of season 2 or something. Kid-friendly stuff. She listens to Sesame Street podcasts. Not like Sesame Street, but like people discussing Sesame Street. She listens to the equivalent of me talking about this show, but whoever talks about Sesame Street. Want to see something cool? She looks like evil in this shot. Holy shit. She has ears. They're just hidden. She has hair covering her fucking ears. I refuse to believe that gems don't have ears. Overanalyzing Sesame Street. I'm gonna hold on. This may be a bad idea. I'm gonna look up Sesame Street review. This is it's just, let's see. IGN reviews Sesame Street Once Upon a Monster game review from 13 years ago. I'm not gonna watch that, but interesting. Tree Lee Games, how's it going? Thanks for the $2 in the super chat. Why do the gems have teeth if they don't eat? That's a good question. Probably because they do eat. the other, I think the bigger question is, why do gems look like humans if, like, gems existed before humans, supposedly? Or is it like Star Trek, where all humanoid aliens were, like, planted by an ancient alien species on all the different planets, and they all share human features because they were, like, part of a, like, all the DNA that was placed on planets had, like, this seed to like, eventually evolve into something humanoid. Maybe it's like that, where humans and gems were made by the same guys. The Sneeple, exactly. If Lars of the Stars doesn't have Sneeple, I'm going to be only slightly disappointed. Someone said in the comments that Pearl calls this spacecraft ballistic capable, also hand thing. Very weird. This one's worse. Okay. Ballistics flight capable, which means it's not orbit capable. Like, if she specifies that it's only ballistics flight, then that means it's not space flight capable. It has, like, jet engines or whatever. It can't actually reach orbit. Sneeple are the creators of both humans and gems. It all makes sense now. Exactly. Also, Caps Lock living up to their name. Sesame Street has an episode count in the quadruple digits, so maybe not a good idea. Someone could do it, I'm sure. If they do, like, daily... Wait, how often does Sesame Street make an episode? That's another question. Sesame Streetology. It's probably, like, once a week, right? So if someone decides to make a once a week video series like I'm doing, they would just never catch up. Pearl was kind of dumb in this episode. I think she was clouded by what do you call it? I don't think dumb, but I think delirious. She was hyper focused and, like, tunnel visioned on one goal without realizing, like, what was going on. Also, I never understood this until I did this video, but this is an air intake. This is not a window in, like, a submarine or whatever. This is an air intake. Finally, someone makes a caps lock joke. She was more desperate. Yeah. The desperate leading to delirium. I also got comments. I know a lot of the comments are, doing the writing for the show staff. The idea that Pearl, her plan to go to, like, the nearest star system wasn't her intent. That she just wanted to straight up fly to fucking Homeworld and, like, re-assimilate. Do we know for certain that Steven can't breathe in a vacuum? That is a good question. I don't think... I think it's implied that he can't. Because, well, I don't know. Does this episode's character growth ever come up again? It might. Because I think the idea here was that Pearl was fucking ready to leave Earth. Like, she does not care about Earth. So the way it comes back is the fact that she was only on Earth and, like, fighting because of Rose. Because of Pink Diamond. she was never doing it for the love of the Earth. She was only doing it for the love of her fucking diamond. As we see here on her fucking flight suit. There's been multiple times where he's survived in the vacuum of space fine for a while, like in Bubbled. I know it's possible. I don't know how true it is, but it's possible to survive for like 10 seconds. If you're just a regular human, you can survive in the vacuum of space for like 10 seconds as long as you aren't holding your breath in. Like if you let all the air out of your lungs and then like open a fucking space hatch and then close it after 2 seconds or whatever and then let the air come back in, it's fine. As far as I know. The worst that you'll get is actually, like, irradiated by the sun. Or if you're not facing the sun, you'll get really cold. But again, for, like, 2 seconds, that's not enough time to, like, do permanent... Well, some permanent damage, but not enough time to, like, damage your body beyond repair, if it were, as it were. But I'm not a fucking space biologist. At least not professionally. Yeah, I don't think that Steven's gem gives him the, like, space abilities that regular gems have. Like, he can't do gravity, he probably can't exist in a vacuum. If he can, I wouldn't be worried about breathing. I'm sure the bubble gives him an atmosphere because he had an atmosphere that whole time he was stuck in there with Connie in the first time he used it. They didn't like suffocate from CO2 poisoning, which you absolutely would have happened in that amount of time with that amount of them running around. They would have poisoned themselves with the amount of carbon dioxide. So magic air supply in the bubble confirmed. However, I'm not worried about Steven not being able to breathe in space as much as his fucking blood boiling and his, like, blood vessels rupturing because of that. From the lack of pressure. He breathed in that liquid from Peridot's escape pod. I'm gonna blow your mind real quick. There is, breathable liquid in the real world. I'm gonna look this up real quick. Hold on. At least it's being developed. So these people who do like deep sea welding, they have to live at the bottom of the ocean for like multiple weeks at a time, because if they either have to do that or like resurface and have to do like decompression constantly, like this huge long procedure for decompressing. So instead they're developing a liquid that can, in the same way that air can, it can dissolve CO2 and oxygen equally. And I think it's tested. I don't know. Breathable liquid isn't just a cool sci-fi thing. Yes. Let me think. I know it's I'm trying to think of like what it's been like years. I watched some videos about this. Maybe I can find them at some point. But breathable liquid is a thing that's like being researched, because, you know, on an oil rig you're gonna have to like put foundations into the ground like a mile below the fucking, not a mile, but hundreds of feet below the ocean. And to do that, you gotta weld it into place. Why question it? It's magic. I'm just saying that there's some basis to these things. I know the Peridot escape pod is most certainly based on the Dragon Ball Z, like, healing chamber or whatever. I don't know nothing about Dragon Ball Z. In fact, I don't know a lot about a lot of anime. I've watched front to back. I can name 3 anime that I've watched. How does breathable liquid work? The way air works is that air can contain both carbon dioxide and oxygen, right? So when you breathe it in, it contains when you breathe it in, it contains oxygen. When you breathe it out, it contains carbon dioxide. So the idea is to develop some kind of liquid that can dissolve both carbon dioxide and oxygen. So you dissolve oxygen into it, allow someone to breathe it in, and then once they breathe it in, it takes the oxygen out, it dissolves the carbon dioxide back in, and then you can breathe it out. It's like very, very interesting. I wish I knew more about it, because then I'd be able to talk about it more. But diving and space travel. I'm looking at like the Wikipedia page titled "Liquid Breathing," and diving and space travel are like the proposed uses. It would be so painful. Probably not. You would think you're gonna drown as soon as you start breathing it in, right? Your brain thinks that you would be drowning because it's like, oh, I'm breathing in a liquid. That's not natural. I don't think it would be painful. Also, I don't understand. I talked about it in the episode, in the video, but I don't understand how high up they are, because look at this in the background here. Or like, is there a better shot of it, maybe? Look at here where they explode. That's like what, 300 feet? That's like less than many different skyscrapers. And then, like, if they were actually near space, Greg should not be able to see this with binoculars. Especially see, like, the fucking actual shape of the chair. But in this shot, it looks like they're over a couple thousand feet up. It's weird. Something fisheye lens. That's the argument that the flat earthers use against seeing the curvature in an airplane, which by the way, you can't actually see the curvature in an airplane. You're not high up enough unless you're in like a fucking fighter jet at like the highest possible point that a fighter jet can fly. You can't see the curvature from like a 737 or whatever. So the Sneeple are trying to convince you that the Earth is round. It's true. I like to say, what in God's green flat Earth? It throws people off. You know the phrase, what in God's green Earth, but it's what in God's green flat Earth. Also, I like this. It's like a kind of Phantom of the Opera type thing. I've always wanted to do. I had this like media MIDI keyboard at one point, and I hooked it up to my computer, and I was like, this could be cool, because I could, like, if I knew how to code, which I do now, back then I didn't know, I could set it up to like do shit on my computer. Like I'd play a chord and it would open a program, or I could like type by playing music. Is it Sneeple? How do you spell it? Hold on. Ronaldo knows. We'll go on Keep Each City Weird. Keep Each City Weird, Tumblr. Why am I not logged into this? That's strange. Okay, god damn it. It's making me fucking sign in. Okay, fine. I'll log in to Tumblr. What? Why is it not letting... I hate this website, man. First of all, any website that makes you, like, not be able to view stuff without logging in is actual dog shit. Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Pinterest. It's a huge pain. Okay, Sneeple is spelled Sneople, I think. Shit, it's actually spelled both ways on the blog. Fuck. It's both. It's like GIF and GIF. It's like each pronunciation is acceptable, but people will argue about it anyway. Okay, I'm gonna do a poll. I think it's a reasonable poll to have. How do you spell it? How do you spell? Okay, we're gonna leave this poll running for like the whole stream. And we're gonna find out by the end of it how, like, what's the correct way. As a kid, I thought the piano controls for the spaceship was so cool aesthetically. That's what I'm saying. Like, having a... Again, it's Phantom of the Opera, where you could, like, control shit with the pipe organ. But on a spaceship, that's fucking badass, I think. And it's only super brief. But it is very neat nonetheless. Also, I don't know why she's flying horizontally when the idea is to escape Earth's gravitational pull. Half moon spotted. I forgot. Did I say half moon spotted in the video? I don't know. I forget. Have I ever made a Steven Universe OC? No. I don't think I ever did. I got into this fandom. I never get into a fandom deep enough to make an OC or a fucking or shipping. I never get that deep into it. Okay, Nitro Coin, I'm gonna time you out because I'm tired of seeing you post the same message over and over. They're both 500 feet up and at the edge of the atmosphere envelope. So this version of Earth is fucked. Probably fucked. But what is this song? Okay, I gotta skip this one. This is not good. This stream is 1984. That is unfortunate. I just don't like people repeating and nagging. It's in real life as well. I don't like listening to people say the same thing over and over. We knew that already. Russia's gone straight up. Here, someone was wondering about the you know, after season 1, the geode doesn't appear. In last episode, I didn't do a stream for last episode. The geode doesn't appear, and then later you find out that Russia is mostly vaporized, which is probably not the case. But yeah, this version of Earth is very much fucked. But also the atmosphere and the environment is fucked. If 500 feet up and the edge of the atmosphere is at the same, like, same level. Did we get Stool continuity this episode? No, because they were never in the house. There will be long stretches in the show where there will not be Stool continuity because they just don't appear. Yeah, the stools are gone for most of season 2. Okay, I'm going to give you an exact number of episodes that they're gone from. Okay, we're going to look at the list of Steven Universe episodes real quick. Okay, we're on Wikipedia. I call the Wikipedia list the definitive list because it's actually like in order that the writers wanted it to be in. So, starting from... Let me think. for sure for sure back at the barn. So that's 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 26, 27. No, I need to recount that. I started and then realized that it would go past the season. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then by that time they're back at the house. So 12 whole episodes where they don't go back to his house. Gemology is my new favorite playlist to go to sleep to. That's a high praise. I'll be honest. The highest praise I can get. Okay, 3 things. Sleeping to my videos. That's awesome. Which I have heard that before. Even before Gemology. The other one was the people who say like it's like getting up to watch cartoons in the morning, like every week when an episode comes out. I think that's awesome. And also what do you call it? What was I gonna say? Like just watching a video in the background if you're like doing something else and you have like Gemology playing. That's like how you know you made it. Greg's kind of hot. You're not the first to say that, weirdly. Not even like young Greg. This is like current year Greg. Have I come across Toon Snooper's gem placement series? I tried to watch those and I don't know, there's a case in this fandom of people doing the writing for the writers, if that makes any sense. What is this music? Why does it keep going? Okay, we're picking a new soundtrack, okay? Something more chill. I think Stardew Valley can be good. Nice. How old is Greg anyway? I think he's got to be in his 40s, right? If Steven's like a teenager and he met Rose Quartz in the 80s and he was in his fucking 20s at that point, I think. Then he's in his in this episode when this series came out, he's in his like 40s, mid 40s. Universe charm, yeah. It's true. It's like they're passive, you know? Genetically passed on passive ability. Early to mid 40s, yep. Which, I don't know. I'm not gay, so I don't know, like, what an attractive man looks like. I feel like I can say I know what an attractive man looks like. But I just don't see the appeal in current age Greg. I don't know. I'm not gay, at least not professionally. This show should have been from Greg's perspective. That would have been pretty neat. I feel like they wouldn't have greenlit... Wait, Carl, okay. I'm going to bring up Planet Sheen. I did some research. I was curious about this. So, did you know that Planet Sheen was initially pitched as, it was like some astronaut, some like adult man astronaut, who went to this planet full of like doofuses, and he was like the only smart one. And, Nickelodeon wouldn't fucking greenlight it because they have a policy of not having shows with an adult main character. So they had to rebrand it as fucking Planet Sheen. You know the whole pitch? You know more Planet Sheen lore than me. Then I've maybe watched like 3 episodes of that show when I was younger. We need a Greg spinoff. I feel like we need a fucking Greg Rose Quartz like Seinfeld, you know, like a sitcom. That's the spinoff that I want. That's like that's my wish list. If I ever become a fucking executive at Cartoon Network, that's the only show that I'm going to greenlight. I'm not greenlighting anything until I force Rebecca Sugar at gunpoint to make the no, I'm not. Retract that. This is a joke for the lawyers. Greg and Rose Quartz like sitcom series. I feel like that would be amazing. I won't make her do it at gunpoint, but I will lock her in a room and only give her food and water if she makes that show. Sorry, that's just how it goes. I don't make the rules. Let's look at the previous. Let's look at Smiling Breakfast Friends. You guys like Smiling Breakfast Friends? Is this supposed to be a parody of an existing show? Because if it is, I have no idea. No spin-off would be better than Planet Sheen. Let's be honest. Yeah. Smiling Breakfast Friends. My favorite cartoon within a cartoon. I think my favorite cartoon within a cartoon would be the fucking Crimson Chin from Fairly Odd Parents. Did I call it? Someone called it Smiling Breakfast Friends in the chat. I don't know if I did accidentally. Crying Breakfast Friends. Do you guys like Crying Friends? Crying Breakfast Friends? Why does this guy not have legs? Is this an animation error? Or is this like an actual floating waffle man? Like Frylock from Aqua Teen. You know, this show also crosses over with Aqua Teen because Uncle Andy is the voice of Carl. He's the same guy who... First of all, the guy who created Aqua Teen Hunger Force and the guy who voices Carl in that show. I guess they need to fuse because the waffle has arms and the pear has no arms, but also legs. I think it's supposed to be Steven Universe poking fun of itself with all the crying. That makes sense, I think. They do it in a later thing where they're like, man, I wish things could work out how they do in cartoons, and then they're watching Crying Breakfast Friends. Carl is the best Steven Universe character, yeah. I thought that Crimson Chin was the comic he read. The show within the show was Crash Nebula. That's right. Okay, I'm thinking of the wrong thing then. I know they did a backdoor pilot in Fairly Odd Parents. They tried to get... It was one of those. They tried to get greenlit as a real show. Peridot. This milk is crying and it's not even spilled. This is like fake. This is why they're all crying, is because they're all missing limbs. This pear is missing their arms. This waffle is missing their legs. This apple is missing one arm. This guy doesn't look like he has anything. I don't know if he has legs below the screen. He doesn't have arms for sure. They had that shitty backdoor pilot. I don't remember any... I learned the concept of a backdoor pilot from that show. I didn't realize that... I didn't know anything of, like, how good... how good or bad cartoons were at that point. I was, like, fucking, like, 7 years old or whatever when they did that. There are people in current year that weren't alive during the original run of Fairly Odd Parents. Isn't that crazy? This is an item show, an object show. I also don't understand the appeal in that. That's very... I don't want to shit on anybody's, like, hobbies or whatever. I don't like calling things cringe just because I don't understand it. But it's kind of cringe. Like, I don't understand it. That makes me sick and old. Yeah. There are people alive right now that have only been alive in 1 millennium, but I try not to obsess over it. That's very strange to me as well. Listen, I've only been there for 2 of those previous years in the previous millennium, but I can still say I'm a 90s kid. I'm a 90s kid, even though I didn't have, like, object permanence in the 90s, but I had all the residual, like, 90s entertainment to watch, you know? All that, Ren and Stimpy, fucking Hey Arnold, Ed, Edd n Eddy, which I guess that was like mid-2000s when it ended. Man, Ed, Edd n Eddy was the first show that first of all, my favorite show ever. And that's the first show that I was around for when it ended. Interesting. Or the first one that I cared about. It's kind of neat that Steven Universe has a lot of VHS tapes in its story. Well, the reason for that is because of nostalgia. I think it's also because that's the format that existed when Rose Quartz was alive before Steven was born. So that's the thing they can record a video to. Was make my sibling feel old because I don't understand their 2010s meme references. I barely understand anything after, like, 2009. Like, I understand over 9000 and, like, leak spin. And then once you get... I'll put it this way. Once I get past, like, 2015, I have lost track. Like, past 2015, I know, like, Harambe. And Do You Know the Way? I still don't understand that one. There's, like, no point. Memes used to have, like, meaning behind them. Now they just kind of exist in a vacuum. Remember, like, okay, this is a rare instance of Steven with diamond eyes. Do you remember, like, advice animals? Where it was like a little animal. It was a picture of an animal, and it was like a 2-color background, and they would be like saying something insightful, but like also kind of funny. He thinks they need meaning. Back in my day, memes used to be funny. Memes did have meaning back in the day when it was just a picture with a caption, and it wasn't like, when the skibbity happened, the Harambe, yes. The raptor one? Yeah. There's like a raptor, there's the penguin, like the evil, good and evil side of the penguin. Is this nostalgia talking, or is this legit? Partly both, I think. I think memes, in the past... had a lot more not meaning behind them, but they were first of all, they were relevant for more than a week at a time. I think the only meme that's like has been relevant for more than a week or more than a month is Pepe the Frog. Pepe the Frog is like has been around for eons. That's why he's one of my favorites, because he's just he's kind of a timeless character. I always like that Steven had an N64, despite the show taking place in the 2010s. Because I had one growing up, too. I feel like it is a hand-me-down from... I have my headcanon of Rose Quartz being a gamer back in the day, when she met Greg, and Greg introduced her he's like, oh yeah, I got these game consoles. I never played them. Do you want to try them out? And then Rose Quartz tried them, and she was like addicted to Legend of Zelda. That's my headcanon. Rose Quartz was definitely a Majora's Mask girly. Yeah, probably. You know what? I feel like she would be the contrarian. Who'd be like, I actually played Majora's Mask and I didn't like the time mechanic, and I actually prefer Ocarina of Time. I don't think Rose would have played Mario Kart. I feel like she would have... This is like her guilty pleasure type game. People ask about like, oh, how did Steven get to see the end of his game if he didn't actually see it? How would the room like know how the end of the game plays out? And I believe that Rose Quartz played that game and that the room remembers it because the room has her memories or whatever. What does the government think of the gems? We never know. We never find that out. That's a question that always is going to come up in future episodes as well. And I don't think it ever... I don't think it ever gets brought up. Rose being a contrarian is very believable. I feel like Rose Quartz... Yeah, she just goes against, like, the popular thing, right? She's like, well, we're colonizing this planet, but also I'm not going to do that. I'm a contrarian. I don't think that's true. I think that's... I don't know. Rose would have loved Shadow of the Colossus. Probably. I feel like she would have liked it. She would have killed for Animal Crossing. Maybe. I still think Rose is a girl gamer. That's my headcanon. She was a Legend of Zelda fan primarily. Oh, what is her favorite Legend of Zelda? Probably her favorite Legend of Zelda would probably be Ocarina of Time, I have to say. Rose be like, I actually like pineapple on pizza. That's not contrarian, that's just based. Based pineapple on pizza enjoyer. Listen, if you look at a food that has like one different ingredient than most people, and you say that's cringe and disgusting, then you're the one who's cringe and disgusting. If you can't accept that pineapple on pizza has some basis to it, then you are the one who is cringe. Also, I want this hat. I want a big old fucking Doug Dimmadome hat. I keep bringing up Fairly Odd Parents. Pineapple pizza hate is so forced. You hit the nail straight on the head. That is exactly what... It's a forced meme. Because the people who don't like pineapple on pizza can just be like, oh, I don't really like it. And then... Instead, people are like, no, it's fucking gross and you shouldn't like it either. It's like, no. Why is there a box of food? How long has it been there? Who knows? That's my thing was I didn't know how rats and raccoons hadn't like gotten into it. The other thing is it probably doesn't have food if rats and raccoons didn't get to it. Moonlander just casually being in a barn. That's not a moonlander, is it? That's like a submarine. Wait, is it a moonlander? Oh shit! What the fuck? Wait. I didn't look. I was only looking at this top part. I was like, oh, it's like a little submersible. Nope, it's a whole ass like moonlander from the Apollo missions. Jesus. What? Wait. What the excuse the fuck me? Thank you for pointing that out. Jesus. That is literally like an Apollo moonlander. Okay, the $100 million thing estimate that I did just went up to like at least like $5 billion, I think. I like my pizza with cheese on it. That is a very safe opinion. How did I never notice it? I don't know. Again, I was looking at this thing. I was like, oh, it looks like a submarine. And I don't know. I don't know what this is. And I wasn't looking at like the thing it was on top of. Also, why would these fuck-ass like weirdos have a moonlander? Also, why are they wearing blackface in this photo? What is going on? Where's the cheese? It's under the sauce. What? I don't understand. What is... Hold on. Let me look at the picture before. Is there, like, weird shading on their faces? No, there's no shading at all on their faces in this one. They're, like... They just straight up... blackface. I don't know. I don't know what this is. I've had mango on pizza before. It was mixed into sauce with habanero, and it was actually good. I've had, like, sweet and spicy sauce together is really good. I think mangoes and habaneros on pizza would be fucking awesome. Greg just wasn't trying very hard to make money. I think you're right. You got, like... Okay, let's take a catalog of all this. You have this, like, I don't know what this is called, but it's one of those rolling... staircase things for airports. I don't know how half of this stuff got into the barn. Wheel, that's a good $100. There's a jet engine. I don't know how much a jet engine is on its own because they're almost always built with the plane. I tried to research this. What are my thoughts on Amethyst and Greg? I don't know. Were they hooking up at one point? Maybe. That is not my decision to make, I think. I don't know why you have like a V12 engine with a propeller. I think most airplane engines were like rotary engines. What are those called? Is it a rotary engine? No, that's a Winkle engine. A radial engine. Radial or rotary? What's one of those? A radial engine. Yeah, it's one of these. Let me open image in new tab. One of these guys. These, like, big-ass fucking round engines that, like, functionally they work the same as a car engine, but, the pistons are each on one of these big things, and it's just so the whole thing spins in the center. Very, very cool stuff. I wish I knew how to, like, I would kind of wish in high school there were two routes. There's, like, you know that, the meme, there's an actual good meme that I'm bringing up. The one where it's like the dark path and the good and like the light path. I was on that path, and one of them was media, like content creation, and the other one was engineering. And I was on that, and I chose the media one. I was taking both like classes during high school. I did like a broadcast journalism. I talked about that in the last stream that I did when I did movie night. There are two wolves inside you. They're both arguing about which metal tastes the best. I'll tell you this much, it's not copper. You ever, you, like, sort a bunch of change, and then you, like, taste something on your hand, and it tastes like fucking coins? It's gross. Look at this man. Weirdly enough, this was not a Steven episode, if that makes any sense. It was very much a Pearl episode. Steven was barely a character. Like, he played a very insignificant role in this episode, I should say. Blood kind of tastes like metal. That's because it has metal in it. You know, the red comes from iron. There's iron and copper in your blood. Watch that Vsauce video about the elements you can chew. I'm trying to think of what... Off the top of my head, I believe it's indium. Indium is like one you can safely chew. I think that's the only one that's like safe. The taste of metal is still a mystery to science. It's not. It's it reacts with your oil in your skin, and then it creates this other. The metal catalyzes a reaction of your like skin oils, and then that it's the actual oils that you're tasting. There's not a mystery behind it. So metal doesn't actually taste like anything. Copper-based blood blue? Copper is green generally when it's oxidized. I guess there could be like a greenish or a bluish copper oxide. We're talking a lot about chemistry. What do I think of Garnet's wedding? I like it, and I think that it was... It ended up being detrimental for the rest of the show. Because when Rebecca Sugar fought for it so hard, it got... They didn't greenlight the rest of it. What's my season ranking? I don't know. I would have to actually sit down and think about that. I know for sure season 4 is my least favorite. That's what I'll say for now. Maybe at the end of season 1, I'll do like a tier list of each episode, and then by the end of the show itself, by the end of Gemology, by the time I get to the very end of the show, I'll do like a season ranking or like a full show tier list. Actually, I was thinking instead of tier list, I would do like, what is that thing called? It's a like bracket fight or something. What is it? Bracket fight. Yeah, it's you put all the episodes into like a tournament bracket, and then you just compare them side by side and decide which one is the best. From what I realized, the countries that funded the show elsewhere basically got the show canceled until Cartoon Network saw how successful it was, and it was successful to continue. I don't know how true that is. I keep hearing different things from different angles. There's some strange accounts that people give where Rebecca Sugar was like, she was like, oh, the executives did all they could. They were very helpful, but it's like, that's, of course you would say that because they're your employers. Like, you don't want to lose your job, so of course. How does a ruby and a sapphire make a garnet? It doesn't. That's just rubies and sapphires in terms of actual gemology, like real gemology, not the YouTube series made by sourcemaster.net. Yeah, they just make up their name when they fuse. It's just like I feel like a garnet. I don't know. If you're like trans, you can you can pick your name, because I feel like whatever you decide your name is. I don't know many trans people IRL, so I don't know the process that they go through for picking a name. I know some, actually, there's a few people I know, and they picked names that were very close to their dead names. Which I think you have, you have all this creative space, and you just pick a name that's like the same as your, I don't know. Have I watched Infinity Train? Yeah, I love that show. There's a Russian dub of the movie? Interesting. Even though they didn't air the wedding. You know that everyone who wanted to watch this show in Russia did, though, right? Like, there's Russia, first of all, there's like piracy in Russia is insane. The people who wanted to watch this show found a way. Favorite book of Infinity Train is 2 and 3. I remember seeing the first one and thinking that it was just like a one-part miniseries. A lot like Over the Garden Wall, which was like a very short series. Which I guess Infinity Train kind of is like that, because it follows like a different story each book, each season. Yeah, I did. I'm from Kazakhstan. Yep, that sounds about right. All the countries that it didn't air and they people actually wanted to watch it, they found a way. Unless you have like the fucking firewall of China where they can't actually you can't actually access the internet in the rest of the world. That's insane to me. Do you guys know about what's going on in the UK? Any UK viewers in chat? What is it? The what is it? Online Safety Act? Is that what it is? It's insane to me what's going on there. I will never forgive the world for canceling Infinity Train. It's not the world, it's the Warner Brothers Discovery merger that, and just they just started canceling shit left and right when they decided to do that. I don't think it was Europe. I think it was just the UK that did the Online Safety Act. And it looks insane. As someone who lives in the grand old United States of America, where we have like First Amendment and stuff like that, having to be like babysat by the government for like what you can view is like gross in my eyes. Because it's not about safety, it's about censorship. I feel like that's the sentiment that's going around, is that because first, like, we implemented this law to keep kids from like looking at fucking porn and violence on the internet, but kids are gonna find a way. You know why kids are gonna find a way? Is because kids have nothing better to do than to break shit. I broke shit as a kid. I like hacked into fucking school computers and stuff. I got banned from 3 different computer labs. Well, 2, but yeah, kids have way too much time on their hands. They're gonna find a way around it. Like, I say that like corporations in the US aren't already doing it. I'm not talking about corporations. I'm talking about the government. Like, I don't do anything with any corporation. Every piece of software that's running on my computer right now is open source. It's true. Other than Discord, every program that I have open, well, Discord and Steam, every program that I have open is open source and not owned by any corporation. So yeah, I am against that as well. You can't just say things and yeah. Linux, yes, yes. I'm on Linux. I'm using Blender. I'm using Zen browser for my internet, and I'm using OBS. It's all open source. Do I model? No. I do use Blender to edit. I've only done a tiny bit of modeling for like little game projects. I try my best to use open source software for everything that I do. There's certain things that I can't, and certain things that I'm not really willing to budge on. I use a note-taking app called Obsidian, which is not open source, but it's very, very good. And it's free. Debian? Yeah, I'm straight up Debian right now. Let me pull up my NeoFetch. NeoFetch. Here, you can look at it. Look at my NeoFetch if all you Linux users out there. Here we go. Have fun. That's all my info. It's also, I named my computers after prehistoric animals. Pretty good, pretty cool stuff. I have the candy icons. It's really cool. If you're into that. Sorry, I'm not using I am not using Wayland, sorry. Nerd. Shut up! You're the nerd. You're the one watching someone talk about Steven Universe. We're all nerds here. It's fine. We can all exist. This computer's been running for 2 days. I don't remember installing Nix on here, so I don't know why I have 52 Nix packages. Very weird. I'm glad I don't have any snaps on here. Okay, that's enough Linux. Let's go back to Perl drawing like the least aerodynamic thing you've ever seen. Flatpak instead of Snap, exactly. That's why I don't have Ubuntu. I liked Ubuntu, and then they forced Snap into everything, and Snap just sucks. I also think Flatpak sucks, but whatever. Not using Temple OS. Temple OS is a fucking 32-bit operating system. You joking me? I actually couldn't. I tried to get Temple OS running just for fun. I couldn't. I couldn't even get it running in a VM. $64 gigs of RAM. Yes. When I have 18 fucking YouTube tabs open, it's really nice. Though I don't use Chrome, so I probably don't need that much. But it is good for having Blender and when I'm making games and stuff. I'm so bad at computer stuff. It's not hard. You just Google it most of the time. You got to learn some phrases, and then I think the hardest thing about computers is learning the terms. I use Mint-based. This all sounds confusing as a Windows normie. The thing about Linux is that everything... Windows is all like one thing, right? Everything is all fucking bundled up into one big, like, box that does something. Where Linux, you have all these different boxes with different parts inside them, and you can also mix and match parts. Like, if you install a box and you have parts that you don't use, you can just get rid of them. Or if you want a part that you, like, if you want a different part, you can, like, get rid of one and, like, get another part that does something similar. Like, on Windows, you have Explorer.exe, and that's, like, that's the program you use to browse your files. And that's, like, your only option, right? On Linux, you can just... There's, like, hundreds... Maybe not hundreds, but there's at least dozens of different programs you can use to browse your files. And it's all just preference. It's all things that are like whatever floats your boat, whatever gets your goat, you know? Yeah, and you can edit the software. Almost all of it is licensed in a way that you can change it however you want and also re-upload it to the internet. Midnight Commander, hell yeah. Look up the GIF of Linux users installing a browser. Installing programs is actually way simpler. It's really not. If you look up Linux Mint, if you ever want to try that one, for people who have never used Linux before, and you want to use it, try Linux Mint. It's very, very easy. Also, installing programs is insanely easy because it's like going on the Google Play Store or the App Store on on Apple iPhones. It's just hitting one button and then you have your program. That's it. Or if you want to do commands, you do sudo apt to get install Firefox or whatever. Or Nala. If you're on a Debian-based system, download Nala and use that instead of apt. It's just a cool wrapper for it. It's neat. Maybe next time Microsoft does something completely asinine. I think Windows 11 was the breaking point for me. I actually... Whoa. Oh, his mouth actually does move. It's just like 2 frames. I would avoid anything Arch if you're not familiar with Linux. I agree. Unless you're running a Steam Deck. If you buy a Steam Deck that's already running Arch Linux, and just don't mess with anything and you'll be fine. Seagull mouth? Yeah, it is. It's a little bird flying. Neat. Windows 11 UI looks so bad. That's because it is so bad. Did you know the start menu is a React Native program, and every time you hit the start button, it like lags your CPU? If you're on Windows 11 right now, I want you to mash the start button as fast as you can and tell me if your computer crashes after it reboots. Steven's mouth has shapeshifted into a bird, like the Catfinger episode. I will use Windows 10 until this computer dies. You should use Linux Mint until the computer dies. If you install Linux Mint right now, your computer will get like another 8 years added onto its lifespan. I swear to God. Is in the Windows Start menu built in React? That is what I said, isn't it? It's a React Native program written in fucking like TypeScript. And it's laggy. We're getting into weird science here, and it's not even or like computer science, and we're talking about space rocket surgery. Welcome to Steven Universe. We're talking about rocket surgery today. Pearl giving her lesson on aerodynamics and not really drawing anything very aerodynamic. Look at that. Like, this thing seems like it would be horrendous for aerodynamics. I don't know. October's going to force me to go to Windows 11. Nah, get Linux Mint. It's worth it. At this point, people are like scared of Linux because historically it was much more difficult to use, and by now, you know, people are saying kind of universally, if you're leaving Windows, download Linux Mint because it's simple. My mom uses Linux Mint. She doesn't know barely nothing about computers. My dad installed it for her, and she's, like, using it without any issue. Did I talk about the Stephen Rare eye thing? Yeah, I did just a little bit ago. Let me see. Where was it? Wait. What the hell? Where, did I miss it? Did I go over it? Yeah. Diamond eyes. Steven never gets diamond eyes, and this is like a rare thing. Gen 2. I don't know if I want to even look at Gen 2. I don't want to have to spend 8 days compiling it. Or use every... I actually do have a lot of computers in my house. I could probably get a bunch of them to compile it at the same time. You did point it out. You're not the only person to point something out that I didn't notice in this one, is that they had a fucking lunar lander from the Apollo mission in the barn, and I just didn't notice it. I'm a little bit stupid. It's fine. There's a lot of things. I was so like hyper focused on the one thing that I noticed, which was the pearl diamond flight suit. Yeah. Which I think this flight suit design is really cool. But the fact that it has a pink diamond on it is insane. This early in the show, it's crazy. White Diamond is physically influencing Steven to make him want to fly to space together with Pearl. That's a weird theory that I've heard before. That, like, White Diamond can somehow either watch or control other gems from her fucking post on Homeworld, and I don't get it. There's no basis to that. It's doing the writer's job for them. It's just kind of it's filling in the blanks, first of all, where blanks don't need to be filled in. Secondly, where this could have been true, sure, but the writers give zero hints toward that. The diamond eyes? Okay, maybe. Shouldn't we be getting previews for Secret Team? No, because that came out on Patreon. This is not previews. This is the discussion of the video that just came out. That's how I do. If I did the next episode, then you know, the video itself wouldn't be that compelling or whatever. I don't know. Because I have a lot more to say after I get to read all the comments from the previous video. White Diamond just knew Pink's plan except for her giving up her body. Yeah. I feel like she just knew Pink Diamond well enough to be like, well, this is just like a stunt she's pulling. But the fact that she, like, killed herself to create Steven was entirely well, she, like, you can't even, like, consider that a gem and a human could, like, have offspring, you know? Later episodes will be an hour long. I've already noticed this, that the episodes that I'm making have already gotten longer. Like, starting, especially Ocean Gem, there was a lot to talk about in that one. So that video ended up being like 15 minutes. I do agree. I do think that later episodes, when we get to, especially the long ones like Bismuth and the very last one, Change Your Mind, those are going to be long as hell. I feel like Change Your Mind is going to be like 2 hours. And the movie is going to be like 2.5 hours or something. Even Steven questioning until the gem finished reforming, which was the best part of Change Your Mind. That was really cool. That is also evidence that Rose Quartz, Pink Diamond is not entirely gone. You know, because the gem gems always go through their previous forms, meaning Steven's just the most recent form of pink diamond. We are being fed. Well, I'm being fed by YouTube ad revenue. It's nice. I've had people, maybe in last stream too, I think, in the comments and in stream chats is like, can you do more than one episode a week? And I always say no, because these episodes from here on out are probably just going to get longer, and having to make like a half-hour analysis video once a week while working a full-time job already is a lot for me, plus bouncing, like working around my fucking ADHD brain that can't focus on anything for more than 8 seconds at a time. It's not realistic to want to do more than one episode a week. "100% hit that thing with the rejuvenator and the original diamond popped out of Homeworld would come back." That was the plan of what's her name? Of Spinel. Spinel came to Earth, hit Steven with the rejuvenator, and then had this injector that would kill his human body. So then when his human body was dead and she could pull the fucking diamond out, then what would come back would be a fresh pink diamond. What am I going to have to say about Gem Harvest? Probably that Uncle Andy is voiced by Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and that's pretty much it. And also Lapis saying, "We're very sorry for your marriage." That was funny. I think that's the only thing that I can remember from that episode. I wish Spinel actually was that interesting. She was. In the movie, she was. In Future, she kind of sucked. In Future, a lot of characters sucked. I don't like Future. I haven't gone back and watched it in a long time, and I feel like I'm maybe in the hot takes video is a little bit unfair to it. I don't think I will like it even if I do go back to watch it. I don't know. Look at Greg being when the when the PNG tuber crosses their arms, you know it's a big deal. If you took out Steven's gem after the rejuvenator hit, it would reform as pink. I think he would have to die. I don't know. That just seems realistic that Steven himself would have to die before that actually happens, which is why she has the big fucking injector. Hello everyone, it's me, Saber Spark. You know that weird, like, Saber Spark fucking controversy? I don't know nothing about Saber Spark as of recent. I watched him when I was, like, in high school, and that's pretty much it. Apparently he got, like, someone tried to cancel him, and then there was just zero evidence behind it. I don't know. Yeah, it had controversy, but it was false. You know who I watched I watched a Mr. Enter video for the first time in years, and it was about Saber Spark. Okay, crusty microphone time. It was about like how Saber Spark was kind of innocent. My cat showed up. Hello, cat. What do you want? Come here, cat. Oh, I picked up a bunny today. This is unrelated to anything. My cat showed up. I'm thinking about soft animals. Let me pull up the Bunny that I took a picture of. I was mowing my parents' lawn. My parents are old, so my dad doesn't want to mow the lawn himself. Let me find the Bunny picture. There's the Bunny, little tiny baby. Enjoy. That was a good Banui. I picked it up because it was like right where I was mowing the lawn, and I'm like, I don't want to run over a poor little baby Banui. So I want to I picked it up, I took the pictures, I actually took it inside and showed my mom. I'm like, hey, look at what I found, and she was like, don't bring that in here. I have a thing with, I try to pick up every animal I find. Except mosquitoes. Fuck mosquitoes. No, I didn't eat it, sorry. I picked it up, I was still mowing, I put it in like a bush, like out of the way where I'd already mowed, and let it be on its way. It was very soft, it was very cute. I love this. I love little animals. And I love all animals except mosquitoes. Fuck them. What do I think about wasps? I think they're assholes, but I think they're cool. Like, they're very badass creatures. Listen, I can find good things about every animal except mosquitoes. There's just nothing good about a mosquito. I will mosquito genocide if I had the materials to do so. But it's bite-sized. I could have probably eaten this thing in one bite. Yeah, maybe two. Mosquitoes are good frog food. You know what else is good frog food? Basically any other insect. Except fireflies, apparently. I learned that from Minecraft, I guess. What's good about gnats? They're very good for genetic research. Because they live for, what, 2 days? And they have such a short life cycle that you can study genetics very, very easily with them. Roaches are the worst. I don't deal with roaches. I live in Iowa, where it gets really fucking cold in the winter, and all the bugs die every season. What's good about humans? Humans made Pornhub.com. That's pretty good, I think. Okay. Humans also, what else do they do? They invented, burritos. And... oh, ice cream. Yeah, I think humans are pretty good. Sneeple won? It was Sneeple, like the other... okay, I'll end poll. It's been an hour. Sneeple with 2 E's won by, like, a hair. Bullshit. Best burrito topping? I don't think burritos have toppings. I like a good... I suppose they do if you're having a chimichanga. I do like a good... every time I go to a Mexican restaurant, like a different Mexican restaurant that I haven't been to before, my baseline food to order is a chimichanga with, like, chicken. Because that's like a good... I do that with other restaurants with, like, other dishes as well. To, like, compare. I have, like, these baseline foods to compare restaurants. Like, chicken chimichanga is what I go for. Queso, yeah. My cat's name is Chimichanga. That's a good cat name, I think. I remember I made a Greek goddess, and she invented the Crunchwrap Supreme from Taco Bell. You made a Greek goddess? What? Huh. I don't like you wrote, you like fiction, like wrote a oh, you for a school assignment. Okay, so it was interesting. Okay. Any tips for making YouTube videos? That is a very broad question. Is there anything specific you could want? Because I think my best advice that I've learned from other people and that I learned firsthand when I started Gemology is schedule videos, be consistent. If you can do a video once a week or once every 2 weeks, or just consistently when people know when they can come and expect a video, do that. Even if you're doing like one a month, if you like explicitly tell people like, hey, I'm gonna do a video on the 15th of every month, like that's already better than just like making a video and then waiting an arbitrary amount of time. Other than that, it's a lot of just like playing it by ear. Don't maybe don't do something that already exists. It's hard to find a niche. Don't like look for things that are general, because there's already a million channels that are general. You'll never get an audience doing like Minecraft videos or cooking videos unless you put a twist on it. Also, don't do just one video, do a series. If you're gonna make a YouTube channel, you gotta have a series that people can expect. Steven Universe analysis with a focus on stools? Yeah, that's my channel. If you're gonna do a Steven Universe analysis with a focus on like cars, then you could do that. Don't groom children, that's also a good one. Specifically for YouTubers. I don't... It's so baffling to me. Anything like that, it's like... It's incredibly simple to not be a sex pest, isn't it? Like... Am I crazy? Am I the weird one for saying that, like... That can just, like, stay in the bedroom, if you know what I mean? How hard is it to not text kids? That's what I'm saying. I was about to ask about editing, but I remember you edit in Blender. You picked a niche of yokai watch stuff. Interesting. That's another recommendation, is don't use Blender for editing until it's much better. Maybe in like the next couple versions, when you actually have like good audio editing. It does the job for the kind of videos that I want to make. I feel like I could also get away with a lot more. But yeah, for people who are new to video editing, use Sony Vegas or Adobe Premiere or whatever. Something that actually more than like 30 people in the world use for video editing. I still don't believe that Steven doesn't know what a school is. He had to see a school in a movie or series on TV. Yeah, it's very strange. It's very contrived that he doesn't know what school is. I feel like that's the worst part of Mirror Gem, is that it's like not knowing what school is, not knowing what summer vacation is insane. Maybe Steven is stupid? Am I stupid? Probably. Yeah, Steven is a little bit stupid, probably because he didn't go to school. It all circles back. If he just went to school, if he drove by a school with Greg and was like, "What's that building?" And Greg was like, "That's a school, son. That's not what either of them sound like." And then Steven was like, "What school?" And then that would be over. The gems are free daycare. True. You would think Greg uses the school as free daycare. Listen, I work at a public school. I absolutely know that is what a lot of parents use public school for. You have a flight to catch? Where are you flying to? Also, goodbye. Yeah, I don't... Also... This is Steven before not surviving. Because he still, like, has his skin. Steven pre-not survival. I don't understand. I know they were around the same time when these shows, or when Steven Universe and Undertale were like peak popularity. Because I feel like Steven Universe was peak popularity like end of season 2, right? And Undertale came out around the same time, right? Like 2015. I understand that they were there around the same time, but the fact that everyone was injecting Undertale into everything was actually obnoxious. That was like the darkest time of the internet, I think. I'm excited for Alone Together. I do like that episode. I'm gonna call Stevani she a couple times on accident, and people are gonna get pissed off at me in the comments. They did when I made a little throwaway joke about Stevani being on the cover of a magazine, and I said she's on a magazine or whatever, and people are like, actually it's they. It's like, I want to be inclusive to everybody, but when the whole my only exposure to a group of people is them correcting me on the internet, it makes me not want to look at this hand, by the way. It's very weird. It just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Can you hate on Kevin hard? I don't know. Kevin doesn't get enough screen time. Also, Kevin's not an asshole in that episode. She is doing the hand thing. But also this hand is very wacky looking. I'm excited to straight to video. I was looking at the episodes that were nominated for Emmys, and that is the first one. The first of like 5 that were nominated for Emmys. And I'll definitely mention that when I get to that episode. The fact that Undertale's fans actually thought Steven Universe plagiarized Stronger Than You. Is that real? Did people actually think that? I mean, it's the fucking internet. YouTube doesn't have the actually emoji? Yeah, they do. I think, right? It's just the pointing up hand emoji and then the nerd. They don't? Prove you wrong? Okay, I will. They have... Okay, I will... Actually, they do have it. Oh, wait, I used the wrong hand. Shit. Imagine the surreal feeling if you watch Sans Stronger Than You and then turn on the TV and hear the Sans song on Cartoon Network. That is I don't know, that would be evidence that people spend too much time on the internet, I think. Even back in 2016 or whatever. Imagine turning on the TV and your first exposure to Steven Universe was that Garnet was a fusion. I've heard people say that. I've heard people say they started watching Steven Universe at Jailbreak. Or at like Ocean Gem or Mirror Gem, and it's like I feel like it's required reading to watch before all that. To watch like the first half of season 1. Which kind of sucks, because to like understand a lot of concepts like fusion and gems reforming and stuff, you kind of need to watch that. But I don't know. Does this sleeping bag ever show up again? I don't even know. Reruns. The season 1A. Or season 1 as a whole is kind of built to be reruns. Something interesting I've noticed about streaming is that it's kind of more built... Streaming is more apt for serialized shows. Like your The Boys and your Invincible and things like that. There's no... Because you don't get reruns on... streaming, so you don't have these like Monster of the Week type of shows. Which kind of sucks, because it's Monster of the Week I feel like is a lost art. Other than Miraculous Ladybug, which even that show kind of like gave up Monster of the Week at a certain point. Actually, no, that's not true. There's still Monster of the Week. That's like the only show that I can think of that's like that. That's like a procedural. There's procedural and there's serialized. People use the wrong words for those. Miraculous Ladybug, bingo. Yep, I talked about it. I talked about Miraculous Ladybug on stream. You can mark that off on your bingo cards. It's fine. That's the free space. Pretty much. I did also say at least not professionally during the stream, so you can mark that one off. You need a bingo card? I should... Someone, maybe not me, someone should make... Who watches my streams and like knows me better than I know myself should make a bingo card. And talking about Miraculous Ladybug will definitely be one of the spaces. The stools only came up because someone brought them up in chat. I guess that counts. If we're doing a bingo card in the future, it's both me and chat. Okay, wait, I have an idea. We're gonna do this. Here's a stupid idea that I'm having right now. Here we go. I'm switching over to Obsidian. We're going to make a Source Master stream bingo squares. What do we want in this? What do we want? We want to talks about Miraculous. What else? What else? Can I make this bigger? Someone puts Saber Spark on the bingo. I don't think I've talked about Saber Spark until today. Stools. Someone mentioned Stools. That can also be a chat member. At least not professionally. The smile sign. Well, the smile sign doesn't come up during streams. Distracted from the stream's discussion. That's the free space. Off topic. because I'm always going to be talking about other stuff than just Steven Universe, I feel like. We're off topic right now, get it? Pilot Light? Maybe? I almost never talk about Pilot Light, but sure. Sans? Sans. Sure. Linux rant? Sourcemaster says chat. I'm streaming. Of course I'm going to say chat. That's going to be another free space. Chat talks about something disgusting. It happens every stream. That'll be work. Surprised reaction to foreshadowing. White diamond on Quaaludes. That's only going to come up once. That was only the movie night one. The dog nut. Someone in chat. So chat brings up the dog nut. Taco Bell. I've never talked about Taco Bell. Okay, we'll come back to this at a later point. Is there anything we can go back to the blender to see? First of all, how did Pearl cut the side of this thing off? Did she? A couple people in chat said she used her spear. I think Pearl is cleaner than this to use with her spear. I still believe that she chloroformed Greg with all the chemicals that were in the barn. Also, is this the fucking van's engine? Did she destroy it? Wait. Weird. Okay, I don't know. Glowstick's arc has concluded. What is this Stardew Valley? Okay, it's short. Fine. Was the barn still not emptied? Let's see. Is it the same back? Did they just use the same background? Because it looks like none of these parts were moved around, right? Okay, I'm gonna mark right here. And then I'm gonna look for the first. Okay, let's see the zoomed out shot of the barn, I think. Is this just like a color corrected version of... Let me zoom in. Is this just a color corrected? It is. Okay. Maybe a little bit different. Did the bricks show up in the barn? I don't believe so. I got bricks in my yard. When I moved into my house, there were just bricks for some reason. There was a few of them. I use them for things. For holding down like a tarp on occasion when I need it. If you own a house and you don't have just like bricks lying around, you're doing it wrong. Where does the spaceship and the two robots' materials come from? I don't know. Half the spaceship shit Pearl probably had stored in her gem. I don't know. Come back to the boob ship? Stream popped off while I was... I don't understand what boob... Someone brought up boob ship in fucking... in chat, and I don't understand. I don't know what that means. Have I ever talked about breasts on stream? Probably not, right? Maybe chicken breasts. I was talking about like a chicken chimichangas. That's the closest I've gotten. Which is very, very far. Pearl also has the numbers from different people in her gem. She gets all the ladies. I'm sure some of those numbers were from men, you know? I'm sure Pearl just kept them for fun or some shit. Also, more fucking evidence. Okay, chat. Do you find the theory that Pearl was ever belonged to White Diamond? Because that's my thought. Is that at some point she was White Diamond's Pearl, but you know the writers were like, well, she wasn't, because she's like the default Pearl or whatever. And I think that's bullshit. I think that's like word of God, whatever, White Diamond influence theory. Is that what the diamond's eyes are signifying? Is that what this is supposed to be? She was made by the other three and given to Pink. I don't know. It's possible. I feel like I could equally believe that she's like the default Pearl. Like if you customize a Pearl when you get one. And she could also have been White Diamonds and been like rejuvenated at one point when Pink Pearl got cracked. Also, I believe that actually not, I don't believe. I have been cooking up a rewrite of the ending of Steven Universe Future because I feel like I went in, I talked about it a lot. Not a lot. I did a good rant during the hot takes video, and a lot of people didn't resonate with that and said I was just like being whiny and stuff. I think one of the worst comments I got was that I had no media literacy, which is not what media literacy means, first of all. That comment stuck with me just because of how absurd it was. But I feel like I criticized Future without really giving many solutions. So I'm cooking up a rewrite of Future, at least in my brain. I haven't written too much of it down. I'll probably have all of Gemology to get to the point where I want to like actually have a rewrite. You have no media literacy because your opinion is different from mine. That's pretty much what YouTube comments boil down to. Your opinion is different, therefore you are stupid and don't understand this. Steven Universe Future criticism video plus solutions. I think that's gonna be like very, like the ultimate end of Gemology. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'll have a lot of time to develop a... listen, I'll have more time than the actual writers of the show to devise a much better ending. By the time you finish Gemology, you should be able to explain your corrections to an AI and get the show we deserve. That could be possible. We could have advancements in AI fast enough to, what do you call it? To just, like, put a prompt in, like a long description, and then just get, like, a whole season of a cartoon. Sourcemaster AI chatbot when? There's enough streams and recordings of me that you could realistically build a fucking, like, robot version of me. And if you do, I'll kill you. The robot version of me will kill you, probably. By the time I finish Gemology, there will be an AI singularity. That will be nice. The day when I can just sit back and not do anything and have the AI singularity just run the world. Capsock is number 1. He was number 1. I also like Pearl, just her faces in everyone's faces. Who boarded this episode? Let me look at that. Who the freak boarded this episode? Joe Johnston. This was the same guy who did, or the same, I think both the same guys who did Giant Woman, which I also really liked the faces and stuff in that one. I'm not Source Master, at least not professionally. Listen, I am Source Master, but I'm not professional. At least I don't make a living being Source Master. That's the unfortunate truth. Amethyst has the same face as in Giant Woman. She has the same face as every time she's Amethyst. Wait. Is it a specific face that I... Is there a specific face that I'm not knowing? That is a vibed out Amethyst face, though. She is, like, stoned off her ass right now. Consuming the water supply of a whole country to make an alternate ending to children's cartoons. Yeah, let's talk anti-AI. Let's all the water that we use. You know, my computer running right now is probably using everyone's computer in the entire United States versus like ChatGPT servers. Or like people having their TVs on to watch Netflix. That's yeah. Amethyst definitely smokes. Does she smoke tobacco? Or does she smoke David? That's what I want to know. Or does she eat pot brownies? She might... If she consumes weed, she probably eats pot brownies. Toward the end of the scene, her annoyed face, it's similar to the one they were trying to fuse the first time. Is it... Wait. Let me see. I'm trying to find this. Is it this one? Do we have to check all of them? Or is it the one after Steven... when she shows up in space with Steven? Also, Steven did go to space in this episode, just saying. Twice. ChatGPT, for its size, probably uses a non-insignificant portion of the amount of water all the TVs use. I don't think... I don't know how true that is, but I also think that we're using YouTube.com right now, all of us on here. I am 100% sure that YouTube uses more server power than ChatGPT. Guarantee it. So the like energy impacts. It's just technology, man. Any technology is going to use power. What planets are these? You got Jupiter. You got a Jupiter but dark version. You got mini Jupiter. I don't know what these planets are. You got mini medium-sized dark version Jupiter with rings. And you got mini Jupiter. I don't know. These are like copy-pasted planets, I think. No, they're not. Wait, they're normal-looking planets. Okay. It's all Jupiter. It's that thing of the astronauts. It's all Jupiter. Always has been. I talk about... listen, I had that meme rant earlier at the very, like... like an hour and a half ago about like, oh, memes aren't funny, and I'm realizing now that there are memes that are good, and they exist in the same way that memes back in the day. I guess there's two breeds of memes. I think there's two categories. It's the repeating a phrase. It's like column A is just repeating a phrase because other people repeat this phrase. And column B is like an image macro with like exploitable text that can be used in several different situations. So in column B, the example would be like the astronaut like pointing a gun at the back of the other astronaut. It's like, wait, it's always Jupiter? It's always been Jupiter? Or it's like, yeah, always has been. That's column B. Column A is like, do you know the way? It's just word that someone else said, so I'm going to say it too. Very weird. Reference memes and template memes. Okay, yes. That is a way better way of describing it. Do I like Elden Ring? I was recently doing a Steven Elden Ring build. I haven't beaten Elden Ring. I really do like it, though. It is really good. I miss the Chuck Norris memes. I do not. I feel like Chuck Norris was one of the worst memes of its era. Something that always got me was the use of galaxy warps, especially after the movie where Steven just warps from a ballroom straight to his house. That's an interesting... I feel like I've thought of this before, and I think of them as like network infrastructure, if that makes any sense. Like the galaxy warp can be used on its own, right? But it also is like a router for the other warps on Earth. Maybe to like route it out into, imagine like your modem in your house where it's connected to like a coax or a fiber line. Like your internet devices in your house all connect to each other, even if they're not connected to the outside internet. Like if your modem doesn't exist, like your still will be connected to you can like transfer files between your devices, right? That's all the warp pads on Earth. But the galaxy warp is like it's like the link to Homeworld. Like there's a Earth warp on Homeworld, and there's a galaxy warp here that connects to Homeworld, or the Homeworld warp in the middle. And that's like a high capacity fiber optic line to Homeworld in terms of warping, but you don't need to use it directly. It's the LAN versus the WAN. Yeah. Do I ever state how long warps take? Interplanet warps are probably near instant. Well, when we see the warp get fixed between... Okay. When we get to not Marble Madness, Warp Tour, the first episode where Peridot shows up, the time between the warp being fixed and Peridot warping in is like less than 5 seconds, right? So it has to be, like, first of all, way faster than the speed of light. I don't know how far away Homeworld is, but it's teleportation, so of course it's going to be fast. Warping is so weird. Sometimes it's instant, sometimes it's not. Yeah, there's points even in Warp Tour, yeah, there's like a whole scene that takes place during a warp, and it's like, it's a longer time than it takes Peridot to warp in after the warp is fixed, right? Hey, Source Master, can you draw? I can. I'm not good at it, but I can. I say I'm not good at it, but I feel like if I get put up like next to the average person who also doesn't draw often, I'm probably a little bit better, but compared to like actual people who do it daily, no, I'm not that good. Or warps like sending data, do you think? No, because you, like, characters physically exist inside the warp. I'm sure you could use them for sending data, much like you use a fiber optic line. You could also just, like, put a hard drive in it and then, like, blow a warp whistle and then it sends that hard drive somewhere. I don't know. Send a bomb. Didn't they? Wait. No, I'm thinking of FTL. There's a weapon in that game where you can like warp. You can teleport bombs into people's ships. Imagining a scenario when a fancy warp doesn't send you all to the right place. I'm sure there's a bunch. Do you know how many Star Trek series there are? I'm sure there's a million Star Trek series about, like, warps. The Steven Universe ones are probably the most basic concept of a warp compared to Star Trek, where they... Star Trek is, like... It can, like... A warp can store a whole person as data. Not the character data. That's a different guy. There is in Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which is one of the best ones. If you're like entry level Star Trek, go watch that one. That's a good show. The Doctor, I talked about this in a previous stream. The Doctor on the Enterprise has like a daughter who's sick, and she is like a ticking clock kind of disease that they don't know how to cure. So to stop the ticking clock, the Doctor like half warped her and like stored her in the buffer or whatever they call it. So she's like in the warp computer. It's kind of neat. The government would definitely get involved if the Gems got their hands on a nuke. I think the Gems already have shit that's more powerful than a nuke, right? Oh, it's just crying. They're like quote unquote crying. Lost in warp space forever. Yeah, you could just be like, if the warp pad broke during a warp, you might just be stuck in like that weird in between dimension. I have I'm working on when I was in high school, I came up with this idea for a sci-fi cartoon that I want to make someday. Again, I don't draw often, but I do want to learn better. One of the things that I kind of developed lore-wise for that was a warp kind of system. I don't want to go too much into it because I do want to make the show some point. And I don't want to like spoil a ton of stuff because I want it to actually be interesting to watch and not just like spoil all this stuff. And again, the word of God kind of stuff from writers is bogus, so I don't want to give out too much just on stream or whatever. But the idea is there's like these two intermediate universes. There's like our material universe that we're in. And then there's subspace, which has nothing in it. And then there's super space, which has an infinitely dense, packed, like, full of energy and matter. And if you try to open a portal into that parallel universe, then it just explodes. Your description of teleporters as warp on Star Trek is driving someone on the internet is wrong sense. I know fucking warp and teleporters or transport. They're not teleporters. They're actually not teleporters. They're transporters. And warp is the actual speed of the ship. And if you try to get to warp 10, it would require an infinite amount of energy, so it's not possible. You can only get warp 9 and 9.999 forever. If you achieved warp 10, you would reach every point in the universe at once. I know about Star Trek. Don't question me on my Star Trek lore. I've watched 2 whole Star Trek series. Nerd, yeah. We're all nerds. We're all bonding over a cartoon. It's fine. I do like that they use safety glasses in this. They probably... Do you think they had, like, this was like a Cartoon Network executive decision where they said, like, well, you gotta have them use safety glasses. We gotta set a good example for kids. If Warp 10 was unachievable, how did Tom and Janeway have kids? I don't know who those characters are. Anyway, it is somehow possible because there are beings that can, like, teleport them farther than any of the warp speeds can take them. Safety glasses are cool. That is true. Listen, I do woodworking occasionally. My dad has, like, a wood shop. I don't do safety glasses. He doesn't do safety glasses. I know that's a bad thing. Use safety glasses if you're doing something like this, but like I don't know. I've never used them. When I was in like wood shop in high school or in middle school, they made us use that, and I was like, that's kind of weird because I never did this at home. Safety glasses are cooler than losing your vision. Here's the thing. My vision is already dog shit. I gotta have these fucking glasses. I guess if I lose it entirely, then yeah, that seems like a worse outcome. But my eyes are already my eyes are already crap. So it's like they're like less worth protecting than other people's. So if you already don't wear glasses, then yes, wear your eye protection. Anyway. I'm already afraid of table saws. That's like one of my irrational fears. Maybe not if I used a table saw enough, I would probably get used to it, but it's like they just freak me out a little bit because it's like this blade spinning at 6,000 RPM and you're cutting like an actual piece of wood with it. If I owned a table saw, I would buy a saw stop, so if I ever touched it, it would just zloop into the thingy. I wouldn't call it irrational. Yeah, I suppose it's the one like irrational fear that it's kind of thing that freaks me out. It's like the only real thing that I can say that I'm genuinely afraid of is black holes for some reason. I don't know. It just seems freaky. Like this like unseeable thing in space that like destroys everything that passes through it. Like irreparably destroys. It's not like the matter still exists. It's like actually fucking gone from this universe. That's insane. Completely valid fear? Well, it's not, because like I will never encounter a black hole in my life. But I played a game, if any of you have heard of the game Elite Dangerous. It's a like 1-to-1 scale of the Milky Way galaxy. Not accurate. It's all like procedurally generated map and stuff, but you can go to different black holes throughout the galaxy, and they're actually extremely realistically depicted, and they freak the fuck out of me. Because you can't see them, especially for smaller ones, you can't see them until you get close enough to see them fucking warping like doing the lensing thing around them. And it's like, it was like freaky because I almost flew through one until I saw the space behind it like warping, and it was like, oh god, it made me like sick. The gravitational lensing is so cool. That is kind of a neat thing because even like stars do that. Like you can see certain things behind the sun. Like astronomers have done this. You can like see stars like bending behind the sun, like because of the gravitational lensing. Technically, even we do it. Yeah, but light spends so short of a time moving past our bodies that it's barely affected. Don't freak me out. That's not guaranteed one could show up on Earth in our lifetime, conceivably. Don't be freaking me out on purpose. That's, I don't know. That's crazy. Again, like my only fear. I ain't afeared of snakes or spiders or fucking bears or sharks or whatever. None of that, like, things that I will encounter in my life at some point. No. I'm afeared of black holes. Speaking of black holes, it's so interesting how the modern GEMS ships use them to move faster than light. That is a kind of a cool idea. It's like it's like warping gravity. I think that's the idea in science fiction. And they in like real life, the only way to move faster than light is to move space itself. So you just create a black hole because that's the only thing we know of that can like distort space so much that things can move faster than light. It's the only thing that captures light entirely. $125 billion stars just means there are tens of millions of black holes that are just wandering around unaccounted for, falling towards Sagittarius A star. That is weird, and it's just all these black holes at some point are going to combine into like one like hypermassive black hole. You know what freaked me out? I think the reason it freaked me out as a kid, there was this documentary when I was like 8 years old that came up on fucking Discovery Channel or something on TV. And I haven't been able to find the exact one, but it was about supermassive black holes, and the way it was edited was just scary as hell. It was crazy. The end of the universe is a black hole. That's not quite true. I think the idea is that if heat death is the actual end of the universe, the only thing left after everything else is gone is black holes. Black holes can't just appear out of nothing. I think you're right about that, but also black holes violate like every other law of physics, so that could also just be possible, so I don't know. It also, yeah, magic exists in the Steven universe, so conceivably you could black hole, you could just spawn a black hole. Why is there a fishing rod? Has anyone done this? Has anyone done this in like a fucking Red Bull YouTube short that they do like fishing from a fucking airplane? If Red Bull on YouTube Shorts doesn't have a video about this, then they should, and I should be the one to produce it. The universe appeared out of nothing? That is possible also. Maybe we've already fallen into a black hole. There's a lot of weird like existential theories that like that. What is this face? Wait. She's looking out at the... She's staring into the sun. I wasn't talking about gem technology using black holes. I was talking about black holes unexpectedly just showing up near Earth. Yeah, I think we definitely have a much higher chance of like dinosaur level asteroid impact. I feel like a black hole would be much more easy to see if you just started seeing like the orbits of fucking planets and stuff start shifting in yeah, in the solar system. What was I saying? I kept reading chat and I stop thinking for a little bit when I'm reading. She is determined. She's insane in this. She's a little, yeah, not insane but deranged in this episode. Also, she doesn't have ears. What the hell? It's weird. Amethyst has ears, I swear to God. Unless it's still just covered up. Like, are these, like, her sideburn hairs just covering her ears as well? Homesick moment? Yeah. Got me thinking about gem tech, and I just remembered they invented interplanetary travel before reliable, delayless video chatting. Like in real life? Is that true? Wait. Did they send shit? Yeah, they sent shit to Mars before like Skype existed, right? I mean, they sent shit to the moon. I actually don't think that's entirely true. Because you could, realistically just set up an analog TV signal from one camera to a TV, and then another camera at that TV's end to the TV at the first point. Like, point A has a camera and a TV, and point B has a camera and a TV, and those cameras are hooked to the opposite side's TV. That's video chat, right? Been long invented before. It was invented in the fucking, like, 20s, right? When was television invented? When? History of television. No, not the disc spinning bullshit. Electronic television. The video camera tube. Wait. Okay, the like tube displays were cathode ray tubes 1897. So video chat was possible at that point. But it wasn't a like internet didn't exist until the 80s. At least you couldn't, like, consumers couldn't get the internet. Was that the TV of 87? Yes, it was. Then in universe, when Peridot has a delay in friendship when talking to the gems on the dropship. Wait, what? I don't think that's... No, there was no delay in that, was there? It was a recording that was played back. The gems, not people. Yeah, but they had... No, well, I suppose this is movie, so that could be like retcon. Because, Pink Diamond was on the garden while she got the announcement or whatever that she was going to get a gem colony. And that was over some sort of video chat device. But that's movie. That could be retcon stuff. However, the Lapis thing was pre-recorded. The Peridot in Cry for Help, that was pre-recorded from the, you know, the communications hub. I don't think any, like, other than the movie, I don't think any, like, video calling whatever would have been fucking... I don't know how true that is. Anyway. Spinell managing to get her crap together in a matter of 10 minutes is crazy. You know what's crazier is that she didn't quite understand that Pink Diamond died in that, like, 6,000 years between the fake shattering and her coming to Earth. Greg's teeth look insane. Yeah, he's got, like, the cartoon teeth where they're fused together. Like, his top and bottom jaw are, like, fused together by his teeth. When Peridot traps them in a ship, she talks to them through a giant screen. I need to rewatch that one because I don't understand what she's talking. I feel like that is also, like, pre-recorded or whatever as, like, a trap, right? That they would activate it and it would activate, like, the saw trap. There's a very noticeable delay. There's also a very noticeable delay in real communications. Like, having instant communications would require fucking quantum entanglement. She talks to them, though? Are you sure it's not a saw trap where it's, like, all pre-made and then she, like, knows what they're gonna say? That's not how entanglement works? Yeah, it is. If you entangle photons, any distance between them, there's no... The photons react the same way or whatever, right? I mean, I don't know nothing about fucking... I can't even make a not professionally joke about quantum physics, because I'm just stupid when it comes to that. Even talking face-to-face isn't delayless. The sound and... Yeah, sound and light has to take time to travel. How does quantum entanglement... Wait, quantum entangling photons. I'm going to look that up. Okay. Entangled photons. The quantum state of each particle in a group cannot be described independently of the state of others. I don't... Sabine Hofstetter has a video. I'll have to... They were entangled at the source. Maybe I'm thinking quantum teleportation. Is that something different? Or does that involve entanglement? Quantum... I know there's, like, research going into that kind of shit. Or is that like the thing where a particle can, like, go through a wall for free and, like, lose energy on the way? Quantum teleportation does involve entanglement, but it doesn't allow FTL. That's tunneling when it goes through a wall. Okay, that makes sense. But it's not, it doesn't allow FTL? Does it not? I wish quantum physics made fucking sense where you're not operating at, like, 6 dimensions above all this shit. And just the laws of physics barely apply, you know? Okay, quantum teleportation over 143 kilometers. Quantum teleportation cannot occur faster than the speed of light. Okay, Wikipedia said it itself. You guys are right, I concede. I mean, I didn't know to begin with. I'm just talking out of my ass for that. Also, They do be cooking that blue juice. This is like the chloroform that Pearl gasses Greg with, right? While he's asleep. Who put quantum physics on the bingo chart? Man, we're off topic-ish. I don't care. This is stream for me just to yap. This is the yap stream. This is what we're all here for. I talk about the episode maybe like 30% of the stream. At most. How is Steven controlling this? There's no rudder. There's no flaps. There's no ailerons. There's no elevators. What the hell's going on here? There's only one engine. It's like a jet engine coming out of a goddamn like V8 or V6. I really enjoy the yap streams. That's what I'm here for. Is getting off topic normal for a Source Master stream? Yeah, it's pretty standard. It's par for the course. What is this face? Holy shit. That is not Steven. That does not look like him. Other than the star on his shirt. That looks like some other character. If we're talking, you can't be late. That's true. It's the free square. Only Steven has the slit nostrils? That is untrue. Because Greg has the slit nostrils. And, yeah. And I believe Amethyst does too, but they're at like an angle. Yeah. Everyone's got slit nostrils in this. What are you talking about? Also, she's got the alien face, right? Like if you drew this out and then that's, yeah. Can I make that bigger? Hold on. How do I adjust the There's a way to like fix the fucking I can't remember how to do this shit. Wait, is it this? Is this hidden? Yeah, it is. Okay, hidden shit. Hidden tab. I can delete this one. Oh shit. I need to make this like thicker, right? There's a way to like thicken. There we go. Now I can draw all sorts of random bullshit. I'm drawing with a mouse. I don't have a what do you call it? A goddamn drawing tablet plugged in. This could also be a light bulb. That's why Amethyst always has the best ideas. The lips and nostril faces have to be intentional. No way in hell it's our brains. You would be surprised what people's brains can do. Back in the day, when I used to frequent not frequent, but I watched those what is it, pony thread simulators back when My Little Pony was like big, and people would make these videos about like the My Little Pony board, like crazy posts. There was this concept of a tulpa, which is like a play pretend fucking imaginary person, and apparently there's some research that has gone into it where they're like, you can have like a semi fucking like an uncontrollable imaginary friend or some shit. I don't know how like much basis there is to that, but again, you'd be surprised how much the human brain can like do without you making it do that. Crying poo stickers? Excuse the fuck me? That's a croissant. That's a fucking croissant. It's a French pastry. Tulpa is a being that is brought to life by mass collective thought. I thought it was just like one brain like losing control of a thought or something and it just kind of does it. I love croissants. They're good. Don't diss my boy crying croissant. Yeah. Well, he's French. I mean, he is a croissant, so he is French. So I kind of have to diss him. So sorry. Sorry to you. Also, the saddest one of them all is the milk carton because he has no arms or legs. The rest of them have legs and fucking at least, like, Waffle Man over here has arms. But, no, poor milk guy doesn't have nothing. He's just kind of milk. Milk cartoon. Or, I read that as cartoon, milk carton. No wonder he's crying. It's kind of convenient timing for her to just put her hand up when there's a fucking falling star going by. Isn't there like a big old meteor shower supposed to happen soon in like the next couple weeks? I want to watch out for that. I think there's I forget what it's called, but there's like supposed to be a big one in August. I did see, there's a couple times while I was driving, I got to see one of these big-ass falling stars. It was pretty cool. It looked like a firework. It was like greenish. Meaning there had to be copper in that space rock. Why is this the sticker? Wait, let me go back to that, because I know exactly what you're talking about. You said, why does the sticker behind it over the border of the sticker in front of it? I feel like this is clear, right? It's like clear plastic, but it's drawn to be white. So I think the clear plastic, this is like the outline of the one behind it. I didn't mention it because I think I felt like I came to that conclusion pretty quickly. But yeah, this one's the same way. It's like clear plastic where you can see the one behind it there. Pretty neat. I love this song from Stardew Valley. The Wizard's theme. The 12th through 15th of this month is the Parasides shower. I don't know how to say that. That's strange. That's probably like Sweden from Minecraft the Corpses theme. What? What do you mean the corpses theme? What does that mean? Let me play that one. Hold on. Let's pause this real quick. Sweden. I don't. Let me play that. When you die? Are you... There's no death music in Minecraft. What? Huh? Am I insane? You don't... This doesn't play when you die, does it? Yeah, it's just regular... The game over theme. Am I the crazy one? Am I, like... Am I missing something? Do I just not die in Minecraft? Do I not notice this? This is the title screen music? That is not the title screen music, I don't think. I went through this, like, wiki page. I've been playing a little bit of Minecraft because I was looking for one specific title screen music. And I already forgot the name of it. God damn it. What was it? I don't know. I don't even remember. It's one of those, and it's... There's no game over music. I was being stupid. Yeah. Someone said, or yeah, that there's like the death music from Minecraft. There's no death music. Minecraft is a chill game. I might play some Minecraft later today, perhaps, before I go to sleep. Did anyone put chat schizophrenia in the bingo card? I should put, let's do that, I think. Let's put the, like, chat, what the fuck are you talking about? This is not, no, my stream of consciousness. Shit, don't look at my secrets, my journal. Where's the goddamn, you could see the things that I did today, where I caught a little bunny. What the fuck? Where did I put that goddamn file? It's in... I pulled up Obsidian without realizing that it was a... That it was a bunch of... I should move this to the Gemology Obsidian Vault instead. Okay, here we go. We're gonna do, like, chat... Like, mass psychosis of chat. I saw your tabs. You can't see my tabs. My tabs look like this. List of Steven Universe episode, Keep Each City Weird, Radial Engine, and fucking Mask Island from Steven Universe. And Slemp, 210915 underscore 5499.jpg, which is the Radial Engine that we were looking at earlier. My tabs are full of porn. I'm sorry, chat. It's the truth. Unlike the people in the UK who can't look at porn anymore because you have to put your fucking driver's license in. Which, if you do that, you're crazy. Use a VPN, please. I must be getting old. I used to like cartoons. Okay, I wanted to talk about this before I end the stream, because it's getting to that 3-hour mark, and I do need to get some sleep because I have to be up early tomorrow. What do you call it? I talked about in this episode of Gemology, I'm like, well, cartoons are kind of in a slump. Like, there hasn't been anything good coming out in the past, like, 5 years that I've really cared about. I know, like, everyone talks about, like, Owl House and Amphibia, and just nothing looks interesting to me. So I bit the bullet, and I went on Crunchyroll.com, and I was like, I'm gonna watch a fucking anime. I'm gonna pick one at random and just watch, like, a modern anime to see what's good. And I picked, I literally went on, like, the new releases page on Crunchyroll, and I just picked, like, the first one that was there a couple days ago, or yesterday, I think. Which I picked an anime called Secrets of the Silent Witch. Which I don't know if anyone's seen this one, but as someone who doesn't watch anime, I've seen 2 anime all the way through. I've seen Parasite and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That's it. That's the ones that I can name. And then, so I'm pretty much watching this in a vacuum. I picked this random one, which is Secrets of the Silent Witch, and I watched the first 3 episodes because that's what I can get for free on Crunchyroll, and it was really good. I really liked it. I like the character. The main character's pretty adorable, and I thought she would be shallow and really, like, cringe during the first episode, but as the show went on, I'm like, well, I want to see this character, like, get better and, like, get good. I don't know. No, I'm not taking recommendations currently for shows, for anime at least, because I want to just, like, dip my toes into it without any, like, preconceptions. I went into this show with zero. I was like, okay, fantasy, there's magic, it's a witch, it's a female main character, and it's like, that's it. That's all I know. Anime is much more appealing than Western cartoons at the moment. I agree. I don't know nothing about anime. I don't have any, like, subscriptions to Crunchyroll or whatever. And the way it's going, I probably will get a Crunchyroll subscription. I feel like that might be a good idea. No preconceptions? Well, I have a preconception if someone recommends it to me. That's immediately someone telling me that it's good is immediately giving me an idea that this is someone likes this and recommend it to me, meaning it should be good, so I already have a preconception of it. Meanwhile, I went on Crunchyroll and just picked one that was new. There was no, like, I didn't want to pick the most popular one. I just picked new because it was like, I want something entirely random with no, like, I'm going in not knowing anything about it. Ready? It's going to color my perception. Yeah, exactly. This is the first time I've done this. It's a very interesting way to do it. I didn't see any trailers. I didn't look up any discourse about it online. I just started episode 1, and I enjoyed it. I think it's good. I probably end up watching the rest of it. There's only like 5 episodes out so far. Maybe I'll make a video about it. Maybe I will occasionally, because people will always want 2 episodes. Not everyone always, but there's a few people who wanted 2 episodes of Gemology a week, which is not going to happen. I will say that again. I will always say that. It's 2 episodes a week of Gemology is just not going to happen. But maybe occasionally I'll work on, like, an old style regular ass review, and I'll put out a fucking anime review or something. I'll review Secrets of the Silent Witch. It's cool. Would love to see an anime discussion vid. Last time I discussed an anime was Parasite. It's either Parasite or Red Line, and I feel like both of those videos I didn't quite do it justice, so if I do a proper, like, review of an anime, which probably will be the one because I don't know how much discourse there is about it online, it would be cool to get into. I think it would be fun, and I definitely spend the time to make it like a good 20 minutes or so, and not just Bye, Caps Lock. If we get arguably we get 2 videos per week, Gemology and this. That's pretty true. Like, I do a good amount of streaming. Please get some Steven Universe cards and review them. I don't know what that means. Cards? Like playing cards? Like trading cards? I don't know what that is. If it's like trading cards, I have no interest in that. One video and one stream a week is great. I agree. I think streaming is fun. Just like being able to interact with chat every week is really cool. And like here's the thing is that I release a video, I get to read the comments for a good like 4 days, and then I get to talk about a lot of those comments on stream and other random bullshit that happened throughout the week. So yeah, I get to talk about the Bunnies that I found. Let me put the Bunnies back on screen. There's the Bunnies. Quality over quantity any day of the week. That's not what the YouTube algorithm thinks, unfortunately. I do think once a week for videos is like the perfect amount for me, though. Steven Universe has like blind box trading cards, and some of them are one of a kind art drawn by art. One of a kind drawn art signed by the artists. Again, that doesn't really... I don't collect anything, so that doesn't interest me at all. This is a good Bunnies that I found. I go out of my way. I'm like a Pokemon trainer in real life. I don't actually keep the animals that I catch, but I do try to catch animals. The mini ears. It's a mini Bunnies, so it's a mini ears, you know? Not even an apple tall. But you try to catch them all, though. I try to catch the ones that I can. I can't catch things like a fucking goose. Because a goose is going to try to kill me before I can catch it. Maybe if I get a domestic goose, I can catch a goose. But like a fucking... like an owl or a bald eagle is going to be hard. I'm filling out the Pokédex. I'm trying to think in... like this year, currently, I've caught at least a few toads. A frog or two. A turtle... a Bunnies. I do have a picture of a fucking hummingbird that I caught at one point. Hummingbird, that was a catch. That was like a rare Pokemon, you know? Next stream needs to be you versus a goose. I could do a goose kicking stream. It could be fun. I don't hate Canada geese, but I will fight one. I feel like it would be fun to fight a Canada goose. I don't know. Just like being able to express dominance over such an arrogant animal would be very satisfying. I do respect them. They are good animals, but they're very aggressive. I love to watch you fight any goose. Yeah, I could do Untitled Goose Game at some point on Twitch. If I had to catch one, they hiss and run away. Yeah. I could, I said 20,000 subscribers on stream, I'll bring a duck. I'll bring a duck on stream, and I'll just have a duck on stream. That's my 20,000 subscriber goal. Not 10,000, that's too close. The duck stream will happen. I hope. Everyone, get all your friends to subscribe, and I will do the duck stream. It'll just be titled The Duck Stream. Will the duck make a cameo in the review? No. It'll make a cameo on stream. Do I have any other funny pictures that I can put on screen? Here's a still image of a duck. It's one of my ducks. It's not live. It's proof that I have access to duck. However, ducks seem chill compared to geese. They're pretty chill. I've been bit by a duck and it's like nothing. It's a broody duck protecting a nest of eggs, and she bit the fuck out of my hand, and it felt like there's like no damage left over. I have access to duck. Yeah, you have access to duck? I didn't think so. I got access to 3 different ducks. But I no longer have access to the bunny, unfortunately. I met a Muscovy duck in the park the other day, and it kept following me around, and I was confused as to what the hell it was. Oh, it's one of those funny black and white ducks with the reddish, the little skin flaps. They're pretty cool. It's one of the only wild ducks native to North America. Or like exclusively native. I think mallards are from Europe as well. The red warts. You have access to ducks, you live right by a few, but they're not yours. You can't just pick those up. I suppose you can. If they're properly domestic, then you can legally pick them up and take them home. That's true. It's a federal crime to let them to release domestic animals of any kind into the wild. That is a crime. Don't do that. Favorite duck variant? One of the first breeds that I got was Cayuga ducks, which are black and green. They're very cool. Let me see if I have a picture of one of them, maybe. Here's other duck picture, perhaps. One of them is a Cayuga. These are my 3. The black one is the Cayuga and the mother of these 2. I don't know how a Cayuga black feathered mother has a black, or has babies of white feather, yellow bill, yellow feet. Fucking, I don't know how that works. That's very strange. We need animal duck fight or capture on the bingo card. Well, I don't capture animals every week. Maybe that could work though. Daddy got some explaining to do. I did have a white and gray male duck that was one of the males that I had at one point. These are the remaining 3, and they're all females. So I get eggs. They're good. That's why I have them. Anyway, chat, it's getting kind of late. I do have to be up early tomorrow, so we're getting like way off topic. I'm pretty much done talking about the episode here. I'm probably gonna end up ending the stream. Favorite soda, Green River. It's delicious. Good luck, good duck. Next episode, it's already on Patreon, but it's Secret Team. That'll be coming out on Wednesday. It was a fun stream. I agree. Good night, everybody. I'm gonna be going to sleep. Make sure to, if you're not part of the Discord, there's a Discord link in the description if you want to join that. But that's pretty much it. I will make sure to post random animals that I catch in Discord from time to time. Okay, good night, everybody.